Ich gehöre längst nicht mehr zur Welt der Sterblichen. Ich fürchte hier nichts und niemanden. Willst du wissen, wer ich bin? Ich bin Vegeta!
Hello guys, this is Shockwave King, and I'm back here once again. And your subtitle video is AJ Dante's son a hidden prodigy. Some might say it's just why is this even important? He's not old enough. And the reason why I bring this up is purely because there's a slight chance in 1 or 2 years that Yuji could actually fight Kentaro and Teihei. They literally are similarly around the same age. Teihei and Kentaro turned 17, and roughly back when we saw Yuji, he was like roughly maybe 14, 15-ish. And let's bring up a curious question, because we didn't see what Yuji could do on the heavy bag or this and that, or as he inherited Dante's corkscrew blow. But it's quite interesting how not only does he feel very highly confident about if he was able to make it to Martinez that he'd be able to beat him, it's just the fact that when Yuji says he won't be able to make it, he truly believes there was like a chance that he could beat Martinez. And it is just quite interesting, as in the aspect of how strong would Yuji be when he finally debuted. His father was one of the rare few people to take over Ricardo Martinez. His father was one of the strongest Japanese featherweight champions the country's ever seen. And you got this and that, but just like wrestling has proved and other sports have proved, it doesn't automatically mean the child inherited all these genes, or the father's genes, or the father or mother's genes gonna be dominant in this aspect, and they could just be normal. But I find it quite interesting. I find it a quite interesting question to pose of is he a hidden prodigy or not? Because the way he was acting to Ippo, the way he was reacting, and all this and that, it's just like, I believe that Yuji, in my opinion, could be a very serious threat in the near future for like a Teihei or Kentaro, but he only had 1 or 2 fights, and it's AJ Dante. AJ Dante arguably is a better coach than he ever was at fighting. Arguably. Ippo literally had this man on the ropes. He would have had like a little bit more endurance, he would have won in my opinion, but he didn't. The coach believed that Ippo could win. Ippo believed himself could win, but it just, I don't hate AJ Dante or anything like that. I don't think he's a garbage fighter, but I don't believe that, unlike some people who hype up AJ Dante like he's some type of beast. In my opinion, he's not. He was a good fighter, but besides from that, the fact that he only fought one person before going into the fight with Ricardo Martinez should be more concerning than anything else, in my personal opinion. It's just like, that makes no sense. Oh, you're about to move up to the world stage. You fight one world ranker. I could fight Martinez now. Even Martinez, before the fight even started, told Bill Stewart it's already over. He hasn't changed. And it brings the question, how much different would his son be compared to AJ Dante? Because it doesn't seem like, ever since Ippo promised Yuji that he'll fight with Ricardo Martinez, it's like Yuji's more hurt than anything else to hold Ippo not fighting Martinez. Because it's like you promised him. Martinez broke my father's hand, ribs, and jaw, and it's just like you promised that you would do something about it, and you're just sitting here doing nothing. You promised me that you was going to do something, and you're not doing anything. And then just like, you beat Sendo, and you're like seriously, my father gave you the baton and everything, and now you're not going to live up to your promise, Makanuchi? Are you serious? So I personally believe that he feels, but in my opinion, it's just the aspect that Teihei Kentaro could debut at any moment. The fact that Yuji's out there training with his father in his father's gym, and actually seems like he's competent, like he got some type of skill. They haven't shown off any type of skill, but it's all about the way he acts compared to like a Teihei or Kentaro. Especially the fact you get to see those two spar. The only problem is just how old is he? Cause like in the new challenges, like Yuji's like around like 10 or so. It's been like since like 5 or 6 years since then. and if it has been like 5 or 6 years since then Yuji could easily debut just around the same time as Kentaro Teihei, which would be an interesting debacle. An excellent fight, if I do say myself. Ippo's greatest prodigy versus Dante's son. Who would win? Who would win the... And shit wouldn't be for the Japanese title. It would be like an early 4-round... I should never got killed right there. It would be for like an early 4-round fight. But it's one of the things why I want to make this video, from the aspect that potentially Yuji could actually show up as like a main opponent for Teihei Kentaro. And that's the thing, we don't know if Teihei... I think they're all around the same age, because they weren't the same age. Look what it says something about it. But I think they are around the same age, but it's just... Yuji is actually like 15 or 16. He could actually fight Teihei or Kentaro. I don't know which one is which. Can't really say which one he will actually fight, because it's just like we haven't seen those two fight, and they got absolutely, like, seriously, Yuji saw them get dominated by Oda, and by Oda's, Kobashi's, and who's the other? And Okoda's prodigies per se. It's them get absolutely dominated. So I'm not gonna say Yuji done any better, but compared to Teihei and Kentaro, just like Miyata, I could argue you have way more fighting experience compared to Ippo's disciples. In my personal opinion, to the way I can view it, you can arguably say that, because Oda and them, they're all in the same gym. Come on. He could learn how to clutch from Kobashi. He could learn the corkscrew blow from his father, or from Okita himself. And it's just like there's so much potential. But even then, could that actually override the iron spirit, the iron will of the core Gamma soul? Is it possible? Because it takes a certain person to get hit by Ippo. And now the major thing is, sure, Teihei was unconscious. Sure, he didn't do anything major, but it just, I don't know, it takes a lot, in my opinion, for an individual to get not only slapped by Ippo, but to also just somehow just wake up the next day without any type of problems, really. Sure, he does have memory loss, like he was Kojima or something, but besides from that, he don't have any other negative side effects after getting full-fledged slapped from Ippo. No type of side effects at all. So it just, I don't know your guys' thoughts and opinions, because the whole reason I bring this entire scenario up is the simple fact that Yuji could actually fight Teihei Kentaro. That's the only reason I actually bring it up. Because it wasn't for that actual aspect of it, there'd be no point of bringing up this entire, like, oh, what's the point? Because I do believe that Yuji, from the way it's shown, will play some type of role in the future. I don't know what it would be, but it would have to be, he has to fight somebody, because the age, like, this is setting up to be an excellent fight, in my opinion. But the thing is, we haven't seen what Teihei Kentaro can do. We haven't seen what Yuji can actually do on the heavy bag. The only thing we know is we saw him like hit the heavy bag because he was mad at Ippo. How dare you? My father passed you the baton. You go take down Martinez, and you go let Sendo, somebody who beat you. At least if it was Miyata, Yuji would understand. But you let Sendo, somebody you beat twice, potentially steal away your opportunity. Which I have no problem with that, because, you know, I want to see Ippo versus Sendo for Undisputed on the world stage. That's what I want to see. But it's just one of those things where it's very reasonable to see why Yuji is so mad at Ippo. And it's just, I'm just curious. I really do want to know how strong Yuji has become. Because we don't know what age he started boxing. We could have an entire Miyata type situation where he did start boxing at a young age. And if that's the case, then we don't know what type of hitting abilities he got. And that's the thing. The reason I'm not outright saying that Yuji would inherit the corkscrew blow is simply because we don't know what he's learned. And if we did, maybe I'd be like, oh, you know, it'll make sense for him to have the corkscrew blow, and this and that, it'll make sense. But I can't really say that since we don't know anything. But I think it's an interesting subject, in my personal opinion. Because to me, it really would be interesting to see how that fight would turn out. In my opinion, I'd say I find it interesting. But, You know, it was not an action I chose God of War to play in this video. Which I can get past this easily. It's for that I gotta talk and fight the dragon. But I'd like to get guys' thoughts and opinions. Do you believe that Yuji is a hidden prodigy? Do you believe that he be just as good or better than his father? And do you believe that he will fight Teiho or Kentaro? Or you just believe that, oh, it was just a one-time ordeal? Because like George has made a common nickname, like the 12,000 chapter, no, the 1200 chapter woman, to bring back these characters out of nowhere. Like Oda, he just gained weight out of nowhere. Became a fat man, and that's all she wrote for his any proper sense of his future career. But even since then, just seeing him back, just who else could potentially come back? Who would fight who, and who would win? Because I can't really defend. I say Kentaro has a better chance because we haven't seen what Kentaro could do. We've seen Ippo train with Teihei, and we've seen how you could take out some cannon fodder. But Kentaro's like, really? That's all you got? That's all you could do? Don't get your luck up, Sonny. You lost your mind. I'd just like to know you guys' thoughts and opinions about this entire scenario about Yuji, because I do believe that there is something more than meets the eye with Yuji himself. Because the way, it's just the way he's portrayed, the way he was just like, oh, you start a box, and he just walked past Ippo just like, I won't be able to make it in time. Like, he's so sure of himself that if he could make it in time, he could fight and beat Martinez. And the fact that he's not that far away from debut, theoretically, since arguably 10 when Ippo first met him, and if that's the actual 100% factual case, then that's all she wrote. That's all we need for a potential Teihei or Kentaro matchup. And it would be quite interesting to see how they would react. Oh, who am I fighting? We're fighting AJ Dante's son. Wait, what? What? And I include the fact that Teihei and Kentaro have, and that's the thing. Now, I don't think they did spar. Yuji or Ippo would have noticed it already. That he's fighting, but I'm pretty sure Yuji has sparred somebody, or fought with somebody, or have done something. So in my opinion, if that's the case, then I can't really say what type of potential or skills you could have. But just from the potential alone, from chapter 1277, it's showing Yuji is more capable or believes in himself. Maybe he's just overhyping himself or something like that. It could be, but the way I see it, nobody can be that self-confident about themselves unless they believe 100%, the utmost percent, that they can actually beat Martinez. And I won't be able to make it in time. Just really? You're that confident in your abilities. You're that confident. You honestly believe that you can take Martinez if you was able to make it to the world stage in time. Maybe it's just some blind overconfidence. Maybe I'm just overlooking the entire scene. Maybe I'm just overhyping the entire thing and just making Dante's son look stronger or better than he actually is. Because to me, it's just like, how can you be this confident in this? You haven't even fought your first fight yet, and you acting like if you were able to have the chance, you can beat Dante. Beat Ricardo, as your father got beaten like a dog. Twice, and the first time he split his nose open so deep it left a scar on his face. But even still, you think you can go against Martinez? Even still, you still want revenge. Not even Miyata wanted to, as he did. Never mind, because he threw away Ippo versus Miyata for the go against Randy Boy Jr. just to believe his father's style wasn't bad. So I can't really say that, but hey, it is what it is. Yuji wants revenge. Yuji believes that if he was able to make it to the world stage, he would be able to beat Ricardo Martinez. You just don't gain such confidence for no reason. And including the fact, while at the gym, we never heard Dante really say anything about how Yuji's training going along at all. He didn't mention it or bring it up. He was like, hey, boy, stop it. And he's just like, we should be able to do it, Ippo. Won't you be able to do it? It's just something like, say, oh, it's teasing that Ippo, that Senna's going to lose against Ricardo, and this and that. I don't think Ippo's going to make it. Not really. Because I'd rather see Ippo versus Senna 3 for a dream match than anything else. Maybe it's just me, but it's just the way everything is being hyped up. Ippo got humiliated And sure, Sendo would have got the exact same treatment at that time, but the fact that he shut out the Dempsey role and Sendo was getting this exact same treatment, even like months or years later, and then he's able to score a knockdown, and which adds more credence to Sendo. And like, I'm talking about this goes before the whole Alfredo Gonzalez fight, because even then Gonzalez was getting dominated and humiliated by Ricardo Martinez. Some might say, well, it's just a major thing. Bill Stewart tried to cover up and save Ricardo Martinez's reputation from Sendo. That's what he did. And Ricardo's just like, nah, stop lying, Stewart. They saw what happened. Did them fangs tore into me and ripped me to stretch. You're overplaying it. No, that's what happened. They got the photos. Stewart. They got the photos. Finally, I get some true competition, baby. Bang. The Big Bowman Shockwave King, I don't know you guys' thoughts or opinions. Do you believe that Yuji is some type of hidden prodigy? Do you think that it is setting up for some type of matchup between Yuji and Teiha and Kintaro? And if that's the case, now we could look at the aspect that maybe going against Teiha Kintaro in their first match would actually prove that Yuji was a dud the entire time and was not as strong as he thought he was. And that was the case, that would be quite sad. But it will be a realization that the sport he's trying to get into, this is not a sport where it's all fun and games. People get killed. People die in the sport. And it's just like, oh, you could claim and want revenge all you want against Martinez, but you're playing with your life to go against an animal like this. There's a reason why some people are considered bums and Uber drivers and why others are not, alright? But then again, this is the current day where you can just hype up a fighter and then get a Timothy Fume versus there's no reason that fight wouldn't look like that, sort of went that like that. But I'm not going to dig at that can of worms. But hey, it's been Boy and Shockwave King. Do you believe that Yuji will be some type of major figure, or at least an opponent for Teiha Kintaro in the future, or do you just believe that he'll just stay in the background, even though George plant these seeds and they just come out of nowhere? Just like the fact that Kasawa was literally there for like 1,200 chapters since he came back. Oda basically came back for no real significant reason besides to talk about Kojima, and that was pretty much it. And then he comes back as like, now he's a 5-star trainer. Really? Now he's a training machine. Look at these prodigies. But I can't wait for I don't think the whole introduction of Teiha Kintaro would be anything major. I think a lot of stuff would be in the background, unlike what it did in the Gake. But I do believe that it would be interesting to see who would win like a Ricky tournament type situation. And if Yuji actually gets into a fight, how well would him and his father get along? Because it seemed like they already had some type of problem. Especially with the way Yuji was speaking out against Ippo, and Dante was like, stop it. And Yuji just kept pushing at it until like he walked away. So, it would be an interesting debacle to see how all of this actually turns out. But hey, who knows? The Big Boy Shockwave King, what do you think about Yuji? Is he a hidden prodigy, or do you think he's just all hype and nothing else? So, as I've been Shockwave King, and peace.